localized meeting, and until we were parking, and then we realized, oh my goodness, we're struggling to find parking. You remember? And it was a massive ladies' meeting, different PCA churches. Ladies were celebrating womanhood. I think they had a theme, Women of Excellence. And we left there very late in the evening, but totally blessed. Okay? Totally blessed. It's amazing that people, and I'm not saying this because of yesterday, but I think there is a general trend to want to stop and celebrate me. Okay? This whole idea we mentioned, you remember when we started out the year, we said the big winners 2024 are the ones who will know where we ends and me starts. And I think I saw that yesterday. Totally excited about that. Okay. Now. Linda, you are my clock, my timekeeper. What time is it? Don't use that one. 1:05. So how long do I have? 1:50. Thank you. So you do the countdown when I am 10 minutes to. Okay? Any sign, as long as it is not audible, any sign, I will go with it. Great. There's a difference between peace and passivity. Okay? That's how I like to start. Now, there's a difference between being passive and being peaceful. Now, who can define for me very quickly, in a very simple way, what passivity is, being passive? You can use a synonym. Because one is good, one is bad. Okay? One will keep you on the down. The other one will put you in a good place. And I think that's what I'd like us to share, even as we look at a couple of things today that are prepared to come and share with you. Who would like to go first? Peace and passivity. Let's define passivity. We know peace is rest, is calmness, is quiet confidence. We've talked about peace over time, okay? If I say so-and-so is a very passive person, what am I saying? Ian, it's passive. Somebody's just passive. Yep. Aloof, a little more indifferent. Oh, that's all. Okay, indifferent. They don't grab on opportunities. I think the word they use in English, unless I'm mistaken, I think is laissez-faire. It's a Latin word or a French word, I'm not so sure. Oh, laissez-faire, L-A-I-S-S-E-Z hyphen faire, F-A-I-R-E. That is, he's just there. Just there. It's not active. It's not busy. He's not ambitious. He's not excited. He's just there. Just watches life move. Okay? And I want to say this because there can be a mistaken notion that Christianity is supposed to put us in that laissez-faire, nonchalant, do nothing, be nothing kind of a thing. There's a way in which Christianity can and has been taught and created more of a docile, dormant person. In fact, my earliest memory of Christian, to be very honest, was in every respect of the word docile. Not docile. No ambition, no growth, no plan, no development, no forward movement, nothing. Even average is good. I mean, they are bottom of the pyramid. I mean, they are bottom of average. Okay, you can be average on top. Okay? But I want to put it this way, people, because it is important. We have a little time on the face of this earth, and when I say a little, even if God gave you 100, it will still be little. Okay? In comparison with the rest of the life you and I will live in eternity. And for that reason, it behooves, I'm using big words today, it behooves all of us to make the most of the time we have. Say amen. Okay? Make every moment count. People around us, I was talking to Onjaga, you lost a cousin. And I don't think a week passes before we mention something to that effect. The other day, I'd lost a cousin myself. Okay? And every now and again, we're always saying, and the problem is not even so much that you're losing people, is that how young sometimes they are going. They are going young. True that? How old was your cousin? 30, 35. My cousin was at 44, 40 thereabout. Okay? And that means that we have to. So today in the morning, I was just flipping through some stuff. Okay, this is how I end up losing my track of time. Okay. And I saw this story done by Citizen Digital of a lady somewhere in Gekambura. The lady, she's 65 years old and she's been doing serious marathons all over the world. She actually sells vegetables. That's her day work. She does 20 kms every morning. Is that not so? Watching with you. And I was telling Rispa, look, it's so easy to find an excuse. She's a grandmother, right? It's theirs. Digital citizen. She says before she goes to the market, she does 20 kms running. That's why I keep telling you, spare us the excuses. Excuses are not reasons. They're just excuses. 65 grandmother runs. Now you come and give us long stories about genetics and how this runs in your family and how in your family you are not able to do. Spare us those stories. Amajekelosh. I saw it. I saw it. I showed my wife. I said, look, man, it's doable. It's doable. It's doable. So please take the challenge. I find it again. I'm going to send it in the church group, man. Yeah, tell me. Shay. She did a marathon in just about the same hours the best guys do it. It was 2 hours and something. A couple of very few minutes on top. I saw it and I said, this is extremely good time. So, let's change what we say. Daniel 12:3 says, they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. Wisdom is king in the kingdom. They that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And a part of wisdom, Danu Wakilonzi, part of wisdom is being able to declare what God has declared you. If God has declared you king, don't live like a slave. If God has declared you king, don't live like a slave. That's wisdom. Wisdom is saying what God is saying. Ephesians 3:10, using the Amplified Translation, it says, it talks about God's wisdom. It puts it this way. It says that God's wisdom is many-sided. I'm using the Amplified. Many-sided, complicated wisdom of God with all its infinite varieties and innumerable aspects. Amazing. I have to say that again. That the wisdom of God is many-sided. The word in the original translation is polypoikilos. It means it's many-colored. Whatever life throws at you, whatever color life throws at you, God's wisdom can interface it. Whatever color. Kilosh, you've been through a few hot spots. And whatever color life throws at you, God's wisdom is able to meet it and interface with it. Would you agree with that? And life can throw some curveballs at you. You know what a curveball is? Life can throw a curveball at you. And God's wisdom is always there to interface with that loss of a job, that relationship that went sour, whatever it is that life throws. God's wisdom is many-sided, complicated, all with all its infinite varieties and innumerable aspects. So I want to give you what I've put in my notes here, a covenant technique. You know, we are covenant children. Sisi ni wana wa covenant is Kiswahili? Agano, treaty, agreement. We have an agano, we have a treaty. Covenant techniques for cheap victories. Wisdom is the first one. And part of wisdom is confessing and saying the thing that God is saying about you. The Bible says, if you believe, you shall say. No, you shall say. There are too many closed-mouthed Christians. I hope you're not one of them. Too many closed-mouthed. Okay, let's use the word we used earlier, passive. Closed-mouthed Christians. What you cannot declare, God has no power to establish. What you cannot declare. We have said that if he has declared you a king, stop talking like a slave. Yesterday, I used the example of Mephibosheth, and my wife reminded me in the morning that she hadn't seen it in that particular way, with the way I put it. Because I was saying that Mephibosheth had been invited by the king so that he would spend the rest of his life in the palace. David had remembered that his friendship with Jonathan was so powerful that he wanted to reward any remaining, seed of King Saul for the sake of Jonathan, who was his friend. You know the story? You know the story? Okay. So they found out that there was one surviving sibling, or not sibling, a seed of Jonathan and King Saul by extension. So they found this boy who by then had been made, was lame. He was lame. And it were better that lameness be only on his foot. But that lameness was in his mind, which is far worse. Which is far worse. So when the king said, I invite you to live with me, to enjoy the largesse, the finer things that can only be found in a palace, the young man said, who am I that the king can consider me? I'm only but a dead dog. And we live in days when dogs are treated fairly well. Today in the morning, I woke up and tried to do something, for my dogs. You buy something to help with the fleas and everything else. You clean up the place. I had to get a fundi to come and redo my, where I keep my dogs. In ancient times, dogs were not treated with that kind of attention. Okay? There was this other dog the other day. What's the name? It was called Jetty. Was it Jetty or Jet? There was an Askari dog that disappeared somewhere in Meru. It was found. What was the value of that dog again? 500,000. Do you read your news, by the way? You look blank. It's the truth, right? Yeah. Yeah, I even remember the particular breed. They say it's an amazing breed. That dog is 500,000 market value. Okay. Ni kama umenunua kapaso kametumika miaka mbili. Ni kagari ketu. Okay. Just a dog. Okay. So they really take care of them. Now, when this young man is saying he's a dead dog, not just a dog, you need to see the depravity that has already pervaded his mind. He is so down. In a word I can get, it's not going to sound good. But he has really messed up his mind. He's so polluted. He's so twisted. Do you know in those days that if you wanted to, one of the worst insults that you could profound somebody is to call him a dog, because a dog then, one of the meanings of a dog was a male prostitute. A male prostitute. Okay? I mean a homosexual prostitute with, you know what I'm saying. Okay? In the laws of Moses, you touched a dog, you became unclean. In fact, the description of hell is where dogs are. Okay? So by the time this guy is saying he's a dead dog, if it was a cancer, it has become what? What do you say? It has metastasized or something like that. I mean, the thing has now spread. You can't fight it. It is on its own. It's like a freak train. It's not its brakes. It's going. And you can't stop it. It's a done deal. Okay? It's a freak train. It's a runner. It's gone. It has no brakes. Okay? So, he has declared you a king. So I'm saying this because we need to apply this wisdom of saying certain things. And if I was to title my message today, I would call it self-talk, because I believe it starts with proper self-talk. Okay? when we talk to ourselves, we find ourselves, inevitably saying those things which we talk, to ourselves. Okay? Okay? I want you to look at your neighbor and tell them, for me, we haven't done this for a long time. We might as well do it. We don't do it often, so let's do it. Tell your neighbor that they carry an irresistible personality. You can add aroma. Aroma is also a good word. You carry an irresistible aroma. Are we in agreement? Okay. Now we call that affirmations. And every one of us need affirmations. In actual fact, if I had my way, all of us should have every now and again your topmost 10 affirmations for the month. Things which you can tell yourself as the month proceeds. Why? Faith comes by hearing, right? And it doesn't matter if that hearing is coming from you. At the end of the day, you hear what you say. Is that not so? You hear what you say. You hear what you say. Okay? So, like for example, you can start by saying, I am going out this week. Nobody is permitted to pity me. That's a good one. That's a fresh one. You haven't had it. So, I am going out this week. Vig. Nobody is permitted to do what? I am not a pity object. Is that a good affirmation? Come on. Is that a good affirmation? Now listen. You're not above affirmations. If you don't affirm yourself consistently, you'll be drowned by the voices of others. You'll be drowned by what others are saying. We counter words with words. Okay? We counter words with words. So, I'm going out this week. What must happen? So there's a poem I read many years ago, and then I wrote it down. I forget where, I think if I was to check, I'll find where I picked it from. And this guy says something like this. He said, I bargained with life for a penny, only to learn that any wage I could have asked of life, it would have paid. Excerpt from a poem I found. Okay? I'll probably find it, and then I'll send it the whole lot. I bargained with, so it is me who bargained. I bargained with life for a penny, only to learn that any wage I could have asked of life, it would have paid. Nothing is made manifest until we declare it. Kilosh, you have to look yourself, and you do it, I know you do, and you say, I'm this. I'm not an object of pity. I've been through some few sticky points, but it's not over. There's a man called Andrew Cunningham, old military guy. He said, we are outnumbered. There is only one thing to do. We must attack. What would you expect if you're outnumbered? Surrender. He says, we are so outnumbered, there is only one thing to do, and that is we must attack. That's a different conversation going on in somebody's spirit. Now, this is how you would expect that convo to go. We are so outnumbered, we have no choice but to surrender. Proverbs 8:15. I was asking my daughter to get me this scripture earlier because I knew it existed somewhere. By me, talk about wisdom, by me kings reign. By me kings reign. In other words, no reigning without wisdom. And we want to reign, don't we? We want to reign. We want to reign in business. We want to reign in the affairs of life. And the Bible says, by me, kings reign. No wonder the wise man says, in all you're getting, make sure you get what? Wisdom. Make sure you get understanding. Because if you do not whet the edge and sharpen the axe, you'll have to apply a lot of force. Anybody who lives in an environment where you have to use axes and pangas and slashers, one of the tools that it is a must, it is a sharpener. You know that file? It is terribly difficult to even do a very mundane job like slashing. You've done that? Just like slashing a small space. As long as that your panga or that your slasher is dull, you struggle. You get all the blisters and nothing is moving. Okay? And wisdom, the Bible says, is that implement that tool that sharpens the edge. And when the edge has been sharpened, the scripture says, you don't have to put a lot of force. That's why I call them cheap techniques. It's cheap. Is it Abraham Lincoln or somebody? He said that if you have 8 hours to chop a tree, do what? Spend the first 6 hours doing what? Sharpening your axe. Makes everything so easy. So by me, kings reign. So we have to be aggressive, not passive in our confession. The Christian man must become militant in his confessions. Must. There are times somebody will say something about your child in your presence, and you're forced to interject in an aggressive way and say, no, they just failed one exam. No. I want to differ with you. Allow me to differ with you. I know you're a teacher for donkey number of years, but I know better. You have education, I have theology. Now, you know books. You have ideology, I have theology. And in theology, I know that this child is not a failure because they have a piece of paper that says so. You can't grade a child on things we used to do. We used to do something called to do by somebody theory. What was that thing again? Some very difficult things we used to do. What was that thing called by something theory? By? Yeah, I can't even say it. That's how hard it was. At least the logarithms, you could go at the back of the book and then you could do logarithms easily, okay? But this other one, oh my goodness. Now you wonder, honestly, what has that got to do with the life I'm living today? Okay? And somebody is grading your child on something that has got no relation with real life and real living and calling them a failure. No. So when that happens, Moss, and I know you do this, you interject and say, I respectfully disagree with you. This child is bright. If you can able to detect their area of skill, you'll be amazed. They'll flow. Together? Let me put it this way. I don't think, unless there is a mental issue, I don't think there is a dull child. It's just find the area of interest. It's a truth. They may not do maths very well, but you'll be so surprised they can communicate absolutely effectively. It will shock you. They may be some of the best, most amazing people skilled person. There's a time I gave a story here about a guy called, I forget the name of that guy. First man employed by Andrew, what's the name of that guy? Get his name? He had a steel company. I'll remember the name. It's a very familiar name. He's the first man to ever earn $1 million in straight salary. And all he was a manager. And they said his greatest gift was his ability to make people work and achieve utmost. You put him with a team, or you gave him charge of a team, they performed to the utmost. Not that he was doing the job himself. Okay? So he was employed by Carnegie. I remember the Carnegie. Oh. So the guy was employed by Andrew Carnegie, first man to be paid $1 million. I think it was 1921. He paid $1 million, in straight salary. Because you employ that guy, productivity will shoot simply because he understands what to say to people so they can perform. So listen, he didn't have the technical skills of the job they were doing. He was just a people person. We're good? So at times you get aggressive. You get aggressive and tell somebody no. So I'll tell you what happened, and Rispa will bear me out. So them days, I think it was Stephanie who was in a place called Lilliput. Were you in a school called Lilliput one time? So they had written some stuff against her work. And so when we went, and I'd read this somewhere, Steph had colored. She can't remember this. And she had colored outside and sometimes inside the dotted lines. And I was telling this lady, she fairly young, it's kindergarten. I said, never grade a child who hasn't yet developed her motor skills. You require motor skills to be able to balance a glass full of water. A child below the age of 10 hasn't developed motor skills. To tell this child that they need to color within a dotted line, you are programming failure in them because they can't. They are not capacitated mentally to do it. Who is following what I'm saying? I said, please don't do it. On the side, I said, please don't do it. Even here, I see them marking. Okay? Don't grade it. They've done well, even if they have colored outside or inside. I mean, it's like judging your child for dropping or spilling water across the room. You understand? I mean, there are certain skills that your brain has to fully form for you to be able to do. So there are many people who are programmed to feel like if they're failing, and yet it has got nothing to do with them. They're just developing. They're just growing. Who is following what I'm saying? Yep. So get aggressive, Lore. If your boy is being judged harshly, and before that thing begins to creep into their brain and they start thinking that they are that piece of paper, intervene quickly and simply say, no. It's going to take a bit of time. I struggled in school, my mother has told you this, because I had eye problem, and I didn't know. My teacher didn't know, and so I would be there, and I can't see the blackboard. And it took somebody with a keen eye to realize this boy doesn't see. Just doesn't see. It's his problem, he doesn't see. Okay? I'm seeing hazy, I'm seeing all that. So I went to hospital and they, worked on me and they put me where I could see properly. That was it. Like day and night, everything changed. Can you imagine how many people have been ruled out, have been condemned? You know how many children have been condemned without being given a chance, and people trying to understand why they are incapable of doing. I mean, I think so many destinies have been ruined because of lack of wisdom. Should you agree? Yeah. Destinies ruined because people didn't know. Somebody sat there, they can't see, and nobody take them through some, what do you call that test? Like help them, see if they can be able to, maybe they're short-sighted or long-sighted, whatever it is. And all they get is, mtoto wako ni mujinga sana. I even had a teacher then, I think now we've become very good friends because she's actually a neighbor to where my mom lives, a next door neighbor there. She used to call me Karobe. Karobe is a calf. Because honestly, I see kuna shikanisha, and it had nothing to do with anything. And I see later did pretty well because, so there is no passivity. There are too many corners with that word, so I need to say it slowly. There is no passive Christian. That's better. When it comes to certain things, you can't be a casual Christian. That's the fact the word casual Christian is an oxymoron. Okay? You might as well say a heavenly devil. I mean, you understand? I mean, it's an oxymoron. How do I say it? It's a very casual Christian. If you're Christian, you're militant. If you're Christian, you're in a battle. If you're Christian, you're in a journey. You can't be passive. Are we in agreement? Was there anything casual about Jesus? Talk to me, church. Was there anything passive about Jesus? Have you ever looked at the resume of Jesus? The resume of Jesus. Have you ever looked at him? No? Give me some of the things they said about him. They said, you are causing an insurrection. They even said he's demon possessed. They called him a glutton and a wine bibber. Give me a few others. A blasphemer. Give me others. That's his resume. No. Jesus is either Lord or liar. He's either Lord or he's either Christ or a charlatan. No, a charlatan? That word is used in medicine. When you talk about a quack, somebody who behaves like if they have special knowledge on something, and then they don't have it. So, but we know that what he claims to be, he is. He is. Now, I'll give you 3 wisdom for the week. Linda, how long do I have? 15 minutes or so. 20 minutes. You better you make it good. If you deny me time, I'll take it up with you in a very serious, in a very aggressive way. You know how well I'm restricting myself. Thank you. Okay. Lie number one, and I've said this here before. This is wisdom. Avoid this lie. Danu, avoid this lie. I must be perfect. That's a lie. There's a difference between being the best and doing your best. Let me help you. There's a difference between being the best and doing your best. Simply, let me ask you this. Which one do you think is positive? Which one do you think will push you up a wall, will drive you nuts, will drive you to exhaustion, will make you a super achiever, running after goals as if somebody is running after a mirage or running after a horizon? Which is a better one of the two? Talk to me. Being the best or doing your best? Which is a better? Do your best. Being the best, you'll sweat. There's a story in the Bible where a man was saying, every time the water is moved, somebody else goes ahead of me. And that's life. You think you're doing so well until you meet somebody else. You think your family is perfect till you meet these children who every piece of hair is in place. These ones, they pray, they even pray in tongues for food. You're thinking, okay, I thought I've raised my kids to be prayerful. And you find this kid who say, glory. Hallelujah. Thinking you're only 6. You're only 6. What is all of this changing your voice? Okay? Now listen. Just do your best. Is that not so? I mean, you think that your car is good until you meet somebody else's car. So we're fueling today, and then I see somebody with the, my exact similar car, and then it's really tip top, yeah, dark in color, nice rims, everything, and I'm tempted. I was so tempted to tell him, bro, you're making me look bad. Honestly, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that car. I mean, everything is super new, same make, same everything. Well, it is what it is. I'm sure somebody sees mine the way it is and says, oh my goodness, I'm doing very badly. Is that not so? Okay, let's even make it more ugly. You think your wife is beautiful. And she's beautiful. Is she not? But if you are as realistic as you need to be, I'm sure you have met people and you have said, truth be told. Truth be told. Okay, whatever it is that Sally has done to the husband, the beautiful thing is this: he married you. You understand? She could have all the curves, but she could have a terrible, ugly character. Duh. So there's a clip, I don't know, I saw it somewhere, one of the TikTok clips. There's this guy, he's muscular, he's dressed so well, and everything else, and this girl is really all mellow and jelly in her knees, and she wants to talk to the guy, and then the guy speaks with a high-pitched soprano. The lady said, so you never know what... I'll tell you a story. I told this story to this guy here. Okay? Never said it here. I'll tell you this story. So this man calls me. I'll tell you that story. This guy works with some teacher organization where recordings have to be careful. So they are taken out by the organization they've done very well. So they go to Mombasa, the way you can perform well, in your organization, and then you go take on holidays. The guy decides he's a Christian. He decides to stray. True story. He decides to stray. Somebody I know, older than me. So he's not skilled in straying. That's why, please, don't stray. You are too naive. Most likely, utagongwa. Sasa. So, true story. Happened exactly like I'm telling you. So, I know this because we had to talk on this. So he decides to stray. So he goes to this club somewhere, Costo, And you've been there, you know the kind of stuff that goes on there. And sees this very curvaceous, beautiful, everything is on point lady. My good elder Christian, because he's an elder in a mainstream church, decides to do the thing. Do the thing. And everything leads to another, and they have an amazing time later. Okay? Get into the room, do the thing. Next day, he decides, well, a couple of days I'm here, I don't need to go looking for people. I might as well stick to this one now that I have already succeeded. Says, okay, can we meet same place? But now in the afternoon, couple of drinks, whatever it is. So he's there in the afternoon, and he's on the other side of the, most restaurants, sometimes you have an open area, so you can see what's happening on the road. So he's able to see who's coming and all that. So he sees this Jama on a boda. Kijana mdogo, ameletwa na boda. Give you that story when it happened. And then this kijana walks through the restaurant, goes to the washrooms, comes back, and voila! The wonderful maiden he slept with yesterday. True story. Happened as I'm telling you. By the time we're talking, he was in some deep craziness. Mentally. So let's just say he was cheated. He went somewhere, but it wasn't there, but he went somewhere. And if you're wise, you're wise. So I don't have to try and explain myself too much. He got somewhere, but it wasn't there. But, So he remembers clearly, I saw this boy come through. And I saw him go to the washroom. Now, he comes to the washroom, the person. He imagines, who can I talk to who will at least bear me out? And yours truly, present company, comes to mind. I think I'm the one people just throw down the trash. And they say, where's idea ikitu bana? Ikitu ni mbaya baba. I said, number one, you are messed up. You're twisted, man. Your brain is fried. You don't even know who you are anymore. You think, you're now borderline gay. Like in his mind. He doesn't even know what to do, where to start. What did I do? I don't know what I did, but I think he got help. I think he just needed to talk to somebody. Okay? Now, that is an indication that if you have been on this other side with the rest of us for this long, Richie included, all of us, please, don't go that other side. Even the devil won't trust you. You can't make quick shifts like that and expect that the devil will trust you. And you don't want to be played like that. That was really bad. So, I must be perfect pushes people to super achiever, absolute perfectionism, pushing themselves to exhaustion. You've met them, you've seen them. People who, even when they do so well, they think there's something missing. And some of us are like that innately, and we have to really kind of change something within ourselves and say, hey, look, I can only work with the best. Okay? And I put in my notes, it's like being on a treadmill, and Kilonsh will understand this better, but you can't find the off switch. Can you imagine? You're on a treadmill, and you can't find and that is after you have done your time, and you're alone in the gym, Can you imagine? And the thing is moving, and then you can say, "We keep to collapse." So, okay? I don't know how many of us, it happened to me once. I don't know how many of us, first time you ever used a toilet on a plane, you struggled to find out how to open the door. You get that little sweat that, like, honestly, I can't be stuck here, honestly. I can't. Why did I check? And that is such an and if you are claustrophobic, it is even more worse. You understand? And you're looking at that thing, and then finally, by just a stroke or miracle, you touch something, and then boo. Say, next time I'll check. Because everything looks the same. Okay? You reach a goal, then you are always setting new ones. And most of them are completely off. You can't get there. Let me put it this way. It's good to be ambitious, but it's also good to be practical and pragmatic and simply say, I can always get there another time. Is that okay? Yeah. Let me say this to other ladies in this place. I do not expect that you will have a spin and spark, beautiful, clean, everything is in place, Danu, and you have 2 children in that house. I don't expect it. I mean, we have to lower our judgment. I mean, you can't have 3 kids, Madam Sally, and you expect, I mean, surely something will go off. Huh? You walk into any parent's place with 3 or 4 children, and the house resembles a war zone. It's Gaza replicated. They have removed the seats, then they can just play. And that's normal. No? Is that not so? It is. And you learn to live with it. Doesn't make you dirty, just simply means it is what it is. It is. Okay? The other way of looking at it is this way. In terms of perfectionist, that for me to succeed, I must beat others. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Line number 2, I have 10 minutes, I want to assume. Line number 2, I have to use a different book. Line number 2 is that I must have everyone's love and approval. No, you don't. Better put, you won't. Some people just don't like you for you. Just you put them off. Just you. What are you supposed to do about your community where you come from? Or your skin color? Or your height? What are you supposed to do about it? And the truth of the matter is that you won't. There's a verse of scripture, I forget what it is, but I know it is in the Bible. It says, beware when all men, A-double-L, all men speak well of you. Beware. There's something wrong. If all men speak well of you, it's a trick. Be suspicious. We were talking about Jesus earlier. He's called a heretic. He's called demonized. He's called a liar, a friend of sinners, drunkard, and the list goes on. His best friend, Judas, sold him. Peter denied him. Thomas doubted him. I mean, these are his best friends. It's not possible. It's not possible. Now, listen. We can always take input from people. Is that not so much? If somebody says that I did some work badly, it's okay. If I did it wrong, I can take input. So please don't include that on this point. There are people who need to change. There are people who are being told the right things that they need to do. Okay? But there are people who are just being condemned and hard. And those are the ones we're addressing. And we're simply saying it will be difficult to get everybody. If you're lazy, you're lazy. And you need to style up. You understand? You just need to style up. Okay? Don't just say, no, they're calling me lazy. And Pastor told us, be careful when people speak well of you. They're speaking bad of me. You are a lazy bum. You're just lazy. Is that not so? Yep. That's what it is. Sometimes somebody says you're not dressed correctly. And it is true. Okay? You may refute it there because of, optics. But you may go and do Google and you realize that green doesn't go very well with pink. I'm not so sure about that, but maybe Steph can tell me. Okay? That it is confusing people. That people are feeling like if people are struggling to be around you because those colors are punishing. Yeah? Have you ever listened to somebody who has a tie and it is off? And you can't listen. All you see is the tie that is off. Is that not so? Or somebody whose zipper is down. I mean, however much he's blessing you, you always okay. Line number 3, please don't tell yourself this is my final one. That I will ignore problems, and as I ignore problems, they will just go away. It doesn't work here. It doesn't even work in heaven. It doesn't work like that. So what does it do? If we ignore problems, what happens? We become procrastinators. Professional procrastinators. We put off what we need to confront. And I put in my notes here, and I've said it here before, that the only people who have no problems are in the cemetery. They have no problem, Mogeshi, equally. But as long as if you find yourself with some problem, Mogeshi, then you are a bona fide card-carrying citizen of this world. Okay? So once and again, I have a little, pain on my fingers. And I was buying some medicine with my wife the other day. And I was telling this lady, she was asking me, so why do you want this one? And I said, I don't want to explain. And then I said, okay. I said, I have a little arthritis, I said, a gift from my mother. And she was laughing. I was saying, I'm the only person who got a little arthritis. So once and again, when it is cold, I've touched water for quite a while. My fingers, pain a little bit. It's nothing urgent. It's nothing serious. Daktari will tell you that. You just manage it. A painkiller here, and that's it. Give it time. Stay warm, whatever, and you're done. We're good. That's what it is. Oh. So I called it out because I've demystified it. We're together? And part of dealing with the problem is just calling it out. Part of why we managed to tackle HIV, Wakili, is because we became very vocal about it in broad daylight. You remember those ABCs? Abstain, be faithful to whatever, use a condom and all that. I mean, it was happening live on TV every time. Because we realized the more we keep it mystical, the more the thing just... Let some problems, especially those personal problems, they hate sunshine. If you bring something out in the light, you have begun the journey of solving it. They hate sunshine. Okay, somebody is pointing to somebody. Sunshine! Ian. Call you by other name. Ian. Okay. Get out in the open. Just simply say, hey, I got this thing. Yeah, my fingers are hurting. It's nothing big. There's no treatment to it. You just stay away from too cold water, the cold. Manage it. So, it is easier to ignore problems than to face them. That is a lie. Problems are God's avenue. They are the license for being human. Kilonzi. So I found out a nice way of solving all the problems of this world. And I think I'm the only person licensed to say this because I must be a genius. I found this thing, epiphany, light bulb moment. You should be in attentive, rapt attention now. Because I'm about to solve the problems, by the way, all of them of this world. You listening? Okay, you listening? Even the ones who are serving us, you listening? Even if you're serving us refreshments? We want to solve the problems of this world. So this is what I discovered. You'll agree I'm a genius on this one, I tell you. So I discovered that everybody knows what to do concerning the other person's problem. Talk about parenting. Linda, somebody tells you, that your boy, cold shower. Immediately after, 2 spoons of honey. Delay for 20 minutes and here he comes. Do vegetables. Okay? Now. Because you always know how to solve somebody's problem, I propose, and this is genius, by the way, we exchange problems. You solve mine, I solve yours. I can solve yours. Is that not so? Then let's exchange problems. Won't you solve the problems? That's genius, man. But guess what? You have no idea until you get in there. Is that not so? You have no idea what people are dealing with. So, what was that like again? So this is in a book I have. He has done another book after that. The book is called The Road Less Traveled. Okay? I think he's done a book, same person, the road most traveled. So if you get that book, you'll find this excerpt there. I'm picking this excerpt there. That the tendency to avoid problems and the emotional sufferings inherent in them, those problems, is the primary basis of mental illness. Say that again. The tendency to avoid problems and the emotional sufferings inherent in them is a primary basis of mental illness. Please face your problems. Don't try to avoid them. Even if they are going to drag you into some state of emotional suffering, please face them, because chances are we run away from this thing. Data, statistics, verifiable evidence has given us that final statement there, that is going to cause mental illness. Finally, my problem, let's call it number 3B. My problem are someone else's fault. If you're married, somebody say amen. My problems are somebody else's fault. It's a very easy excuse. How many have heard somebody say things like, my wife is the reason for my problem? Why? She can't follow me. That's what the men say. If that ever happened to you, you might as well add, you also can't follow a parked car. So if you are parking, honestly, why am I following? Okay. My husband is the reason I'm not happy, ladies. I can't trust his judgment. If you can't trust your husband's judgment, one of his judgments is marrying you. You represent his ability to make choices. Away with excuses. Okay? That is where he can decide which. I mean, Richie is really enjoying this. That is how good a judgment he can make. Finally, I'll be happy when. Line number 4. I'll be happy when ... I'll be happy when I get another job. The job doesn't make the man makes the job. So yesterday, everybody was standing and saying, because there was a color code yesterday, we were in red. The ladies were looking amazing, looking beautiful. And everybody was saying, oh, you look so good in that red. So when I stood, my first statement was, tell your neighbor that the red looks good on you. I said, you make the clothes look good. Not the other way around. I said, even you wore green, you still look very good. Okay? So the job doesn't make the man makes the job. A pygmy on top of Mount Everest is a small guy in a high position. He's not a tall person. A pygmy on top of Mount Everest is not tall. It's just a small guy in a high position. I will be happy when I graduate. How many said that before? Come on. How many said I will be happy when I graduate? How long did it last? 5 p.m. when you threw your hat. Okay? That's how long it lasted. Next time somebody tells you that, ask them if they've heard something about job seeking and job searching. That is the next phase. That's your next landscape. Okay? I'll be happy when I get married. Try getting serious. But marriages are made in heaven, Pastor. The same with lightning and thunder, because they'll come from heaven. Okay? I'll be happy when I get older. We have to go there. Yeah. So I said here before, when you get old, everything hurts, and what it is not hurting is not working. Okay? Happiness is a choice. It is within. Linda, how did I do? By 4 minutes. Thank you. It were not for the few interruptions here and there that came from you. I would have done less with 2 minutes. But you're a good timekeeper. You're a good timekeeper. Thank you, good people. Tell me what you learned as you enjoy your refreshment. What's your best take home from all that? Luke, which is? Can you imagine? It's in the Bible like that. The Bible actually says, woe unto you if all men speak well of you. It's a trap. It's a setup. Nobody has nothing to say bad about me. Somebody is setting you up. Okay? There's always somebody who thinks you walk fast, walk slow. Anything? What's your take home? Let me hear from somebody else. Richie, anything? Absolutely. The more I ignore my problems, the more I'm going to exaggerate them to become big. So there's a statement you normally say in my vernacular that Odo Nuriotare Moike. Okay? Always hard because you haven't done it. When we start doing it, it gets easier. Same with exercise and all that. Just get started. So people would say, so those early days, I remember meeting with Shade at the back there, and I was adamant. I was telling him, Shade, I really don't want to run myself. I want to start slowly. And I really meant it. Because I knew if I started at the top, I'm going to hate exercise. I mean, I had to grade myself correctly. I knew I wasn't good. I wasn't doing very well. And so I had to start slow. Now I'm not there. You understand? Every time you make a little, headway, you won't start from scratch again. You will at least have made some headway. Okay? Okay, let's take two more. Sally? True that. True that. True that. Nothing is established until it is declared. Okay? And while you're at it, make a couple of them for your own children. Okay? Cheap techniques. It may sound like if it's just a mundane thing, there are people who actually believe it. Huh? Do you know 1945 when Japan was working on, what do you call it, coming back? Oh, there's a good word for it. Rebuilding. And I told you that story here one time. They came up with a statement saying, we are number one. Tagline, we are number one. They became that. And by then, they were rebel. Okay? They decided, we are number one. We're good in what we're good at, and we're going to. I read some story about China and how they've been able to get where they are today. And you can see a lot of affirmation. They keep saying and saying to each other that the world has to recognize that we have a stake. We have a stake in this world economy. And they say it long enough that they have believed it. There's a certain, Wakili, you'll agree with me, cynicism in our country that must be fought. Listen, things are bad, yes, but they're not that bad. Surely, you cannot say and create a general darkness, wet blanket approach as if, sometimes I drive on our roads and I think we are doing fairly well. I could be mistaken once. Even in the US, they have dirt roads. Dirt roads, it's AKA Maram roads. Is that also? They have dirt roads. But there's a certain cynicism. Every time you talk to a Kenyan, most Kenyans, that is, you get this depressive conversation. Like everything is gone south. Our fuel is expensive, but the truth is, there are very many places where fuel is damn expensive. Extremely expensive. There are places you can't park a car. For an hour, you're paying the kind of money you're paying for a day. You understand? Our taxes are high, I agree. But the truth of the matter is that it is not as depressive as sometimes we make it to look like. Okay? And we can begin to celebrate what is working. Is that not so? No. Listen, there is no perfect government. I know the thinking here today is that wait until so-and-so takes over. You will wait. Probably they will come to power. And you'll be disappointed again because They're not superhumans. A leader can be good in what they are, but there are so many factors beyond them. What will they do if it doesn't rain? Okay, it's not raining. What will they do? Because they're good economists, what are they going to do? Economize on what? Huh? I'm simply saying there are many factors. And I'm not saying that things are running 100%. No. But equally, it doesn't mean that everything is helter-skelter. No. Listen, and I'm finishing with this now. Even in your own home, Lorraine, every one of us, including myself, it's not perfect. Why beat yourself up? It's functioning. It's functioning. It's functioning. It's good. We can build from that. How many people are driving themselves up a wall because you've been wanting to change that seat for the last many years? It is in the plan. It's okay. The child got sick. You use that money there. It's all right. Oh. Why do we feel the urge to always over-explain ourselves to people who don't even care? People walk into your house and the first thing you do, you explain, sorry about the seat. I know it's a bit, I know you congregate in the center, both of you, but it's okay. Call it a love seat. No, tell them people congregate and they're forced to deal with each other. I'm simply saying it's part of the plan. It will be done. True? Why do you have to over-explain ourselves on the cars we buy? So what if your car is ancient of days? I used to have a car and then I had a sticker those many years, and it was called Old Faithful. The only sticker I ever put in a car. I'm not a sticker person, okay? But so it was a good car, and I actually put a sticker, Old Faithful, because honestly, never once I lifted the bonnet of that car to fix that car for the years. Wherever and whenever I needed to go, I went and came back in one piece. I don't have to explain. Sawa Kilosh. Huh? Why do you still have a manual car? I love manual cars. Just me. It's you. Okay. Takes me a while to go. You don't have to defend yourself, Edu. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify everything you do. You have to justify everything you do. In any case, even if you do, people will still find reason not to agree. One more person, then we're done. Yeah, Ian. And there was one that your wife was pointing at you. I hope it's a one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, I borrow that one. I'll be using it. It's like a glove. Absolutely. One way or the next, or the other, that is. Amazing analogy. Great. Time up, guys. Anybody else want to give it a final go? Okay. Something that got your attention? Lovely. Oh, Wakil, you want to? Absolutely. Mm. I hear you, and totally in agreement. That we actually say that the job does not make the man. Okay, the man makes the job. You've seen people who do not too appealing in terms of the kind of work they're doing. It's not very attractive. It's not very gisty or very reputable, and they are so happy doing it. You admire them. Okay, maybe he's a garbage guy, and then you look at the gusto, the zeal, the zest, the happiness he has brought into it, and you're like, this man is enjoying himself. He's enjoying himself. And I think that's how life should be lived. In any case, like I mentioned earlier, to be very honest, church, and take this from my heart, to be very, very honest, how long are we going to allow, number one, people to rain on our parade? Kilosh. You woke up in the morning, you made sure you chose that t-shirt. I mean, it fits you to a T. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got that tick on it. And then somebody says, Nike, Nike, but then their brand has gone down. So how long, I mean, Adidas, linashika squeezy, or Puma, why are we letting people to rain on our parade? Answer them. If somebody chooses to snide you, snide them back. Yeah. Serve them the same portion they're serving you. Don't let them walk scot-free. Say something that will make them also lose sleep in the night. They'll say, Danajera wega. Hakuniambia vizu. I mean, sometimes you serve people more they are serving you. Because they are literally out to dampen your day. Now we take it, then you come and start, sharing with us. Can you imagine what they said? I mean, really, 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 really. There's a Kikuyu proverb that says, ya mchana, it is dealt, mchana. Si ya usiku. Ni ukweli. I said that correctly, eh? Yeah. Kama imekuja mchana, tuisort mchana. So somebody snided you because of your height or because of your whatever, then you're coming to tell us. So sort it with them. Always have things on your fingertips you can say. You can even rehearse them. You say this, I say this. Always have an answer to any man who asks you of the hope you confess. So it's a scripture to it. Yeah? So you are still on sales. Find something to say. No. Serve it back to them. Uko bado na uko dheka. Hawajai kuleta huku nini? I hope you've never been told that, Sally. Oh, it does happen. Dheka hujatoka. Na hata sema gifika, dheka hujatoka. Huko si ni mbali. Sally, ask them ni mbali na kwa nani? Ni mbali na kwa nani? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't just take it in and then say, hey, people. One of the best way to handle a narcissist is to serve them while they're serving you. Let them feel. It's called mirroring. Just mirror it back. Triangulate the thing and mirror it back to them. Time is up. God bless you. I say, God bless you. God bless you. You are going out this week. Let me see if you remember. No one is permitted. No, who is remembering what I said? You are going out this week. No one is permitted to pity you. You're not a pity object. So when you get up in the morning, choose your best shirt. Even if you wore it yesterday, press it again. Yeah, walk like if you own the street. Don't apologize too much. We apologize for ourselves. I mean, we apologize for being human. There is no excuse for being human. There's no apology for being human. Is that not so? I made a mistake, granted. It's part of being human. Carry yourself with dignity. Walk into any place and tell yourself, no one is permitted to do what? To pity me. My time is up. Thank you, guys. Let's jump on our feet. Have we done our offering? Okay, great. Great. I know the couples are aware of something happening Saturday. And if you're not, you can always see Lore. He will alert you. Something happening on Saturday for the couple.